Hey, welcome back to Convention Shenanigans. I'm T.Dang, and we have here our guest Darwin
Mm-hmm.
and Mike Fuji in the back doing some DJing.
Yeah, pretty much. As we mentioned before, we're extremely low staff. This time we don't even have Tyler with us. So I'm running all the cameras and the audio equipment, not sitting where Darwin's sitting where I usually am. So
Nope.
once again, this is a whole new format for us.
Pretty oddball for him being back there.
Yeah. So Darwin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, basically, I'm a kind of new to Charlotte. Been here for about 2 years, and main thing I do in life, I mean, I guess in real life, I'm an environmental engineer, but basically, other than that, I'm a rapper. I'm an otaku kid, basically. Just other things. I'm into the DC world, so I just kind of get involved in a lot of different things, and I hooked up with Mike about a year ago in terms of I came to the Charlotte anime meetup and then met him and a few other people, and he heard one of my songs, and we kind of got to talking, and he invited me to the show, so that's where I'm at right now.
Yep. It was a little over a year ago, and I believe that meetup was a little strange. That was actually a meetup that was canceled, and that's the result of only 5 of us being there. And then
Yeah.
even the event organizer wasn't there. So it was a really weird situation, but at the same time, I'm truly glad it happened.
Yeah, and I do remember it specifically because I went in the mall thinking I don't have anybody's number, so I'm not sure who they are. Don't really remember their faces, so I'm just kind of like looking around the mall like who looks like they're not in a family, just kind of like a random bunch of people that aren't like related or anything. And luckily I was able to pick right and found you guys over there. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Well, you mentioned that, you're a rapper slash otaku slash, a lot of different things.
Mhm.
What brought you into the otaku portion of this for the most part? What like drove you into this little realm?
I would say I had one of my best friends in college. His name was Ryan Taylor. He was hardcore into anime from the beginning. So I wasn't as into it and stuff, even though he's always like, oh, you got to check this out. I mean, he's a big Cowboy Bebop person. He's always like, you got to watch Cowboy Bebop. And, and it came barely till about senior year to where I just happened to have a little bit more time on my hands. And I finally kind of gave in like, all right, I'll watch something. And I watched the original Full Metal Alchemist. And then and I think after that, I kind of was, I was kind of bought in. And then I remember I watched Death Note and Neon Genesis right afterward, and then Black Lagoon and some others. And and that's kind of where it snowballed to where I kind of just got into watching it. And then a little bit afterwards, I mean, had always rapped my whole life, and I started recording music. So most of my music was, I didn't include anything regarding the otaku side of me, but after a while, just kind of for fun, I started doing tracks to where either I'd kind of for mixtape tracks, I'd start blending in some anime themes and stuff like that, or just here and then references and other things like that. So, but I'd say, I mean, yeah, I kind of got into it late. So I was about 22, 23 when I started watching anime, but I've watched a good bit since then.
You're never too late.
Hmm.
Well, when you said the original Full Metal Alchemist, how do you pair that or compare that to Brotherhood? Because I know that's always a really big topic. I personally do prefer Brotherhood a little more.
Hmm.
People say that the original is more pure, but then others would say Brotherhood follows the manga more, so that should be considered a little more pure show. So what do you fall in between that?
Yeah, I would say I like Brotherhood more. I absolutely love the original. It has a special place in my heart because it's kind of the show that got me into anime like completely. But when I watched Brotherhood, I felt like Brotherhood took it to the next level. I thought Brotherhood had a more clear direction and a good pacing to it, and overall, I just thought it was I don't know. I just think the story was just put together better overall. Where the original, I think they tell great stories, but I do feel like it kind of gets off track of the main plot, and just kind of goes off on different little side stories and stuff, and you're really not as sure where the show's going, or is not as interested in terms of just where the show's going. So there's certainly certain episodes from the original that I kind of miss because they didn't like show those in Brotherhood or certain storylines. But overall, I like Brotherhood better.
Well, what were you, T.Dang? I mean, you and I both grew up here around the same time, both watching anime about the same time. I didn't get to watch all of the original Full Metal. I caught more Brotherhood because I came out later, as well as just the overall graphics was better, so I was more drawn towards that. And that's one of the few things that actually keeps me away from rewatching a lot of original shows or just a lot of great movies and shows that we loved as growing up.
Yeah.
But I just can't watch anymore because of the art style and just the overall graphic.
Yeah, you're true about that, but on top of that is though, like the original one, you actually finished the whole series of that one, it would actually fills in the gap of the Brotherhood because there's some characters in Brotherhood like you're like, okay, where this person popped out of nowhere, but the original one shows that character, kind of gave like a little background story of them and what do you call it, them like did a mission or whatever, like part of their story. But then next later on in the Brotherhood, it's like, okay, he shows up out of nowhere, like they know each other already, which like, okay, how do you know each other, you know?
Yeah, I guess I personally saw enough of the original that when I did watch Brotherhood, I guess that gap, it was already filled in for me, and I already had a little bit of knowledge going into it. How about you, Darren? Any particular moments that in between the two that you can pick up on?
No, I think sometimes it's hard to judge from the standpoint that, like, if when a lot of people like watch Brotherhood, they watch it after seeing the first one, so it's kind of like you don't need some of the extra information or because you've already seen the original, so you can kind of fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
So I do think for someone coming into it completely new, it might be like a better way to kind of judge it. But I feel like it's a little hard sometimes because, I guess you already have that knowledge and perspective that makes it a little bit different experience. But I definitely liked them both. But I feel like Brotherhood really, I guess, got interesting in me when they included Olivier and they went up north and then kind of getting Ling involved and stuff like that. I just kind of felt like there's a little bit more going on that I was invested in with Brotherhood.
Awesome.
It's actually more active. That's all I was saying.
Yeah.
It gets to like Brotherhood. It gets to more to the point where it needs to be at. The original one, it kind of dragged, but not really. Just that kind of like what Darwin said. Kind of get off sidetrack because okay, where's the main mission of what your goal is supposed to do? You know. So I was like, all right, kind of get sidetracked, but that's fine. I guess it fills in a little story, but in the end, it kind of, to me, it kind of feels like a filler, just adding in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, is there any other shows that really hit home for you?
Yeah, I'd say Samurai Champloo, Code Geass, Death Note, Black Lagoon. Some of them's already mentioned. Rebito. Those I think are the first ones that come to my mind.
So if you had to pick some shows for someone who's never watched it before, sort of say if you and your girlfriend are just chilling one day and then you're like, hey, let's watch something. What would be one of the first things you would pop up?
I think for me it's Samurai Champloo, and part of that's probably because most of my friends are black, and I think the Nuja Best beats and just the style of Samurai Champloo vibes with them a little easier than most other anime.
Mm-hmm.
But it also just kind of depends on the person. I feel like there's definitely certain people I know that Death Note works great for, and others that I feel like they'd be turned off from it quick. And then depends. They're a Quentin Tarantino person or something like that. I probably prefer Black Lagoon or try something like that. So it kind of depends.
It kind of depends.
Yeah.
So, but for the most part, the two that you did mention was more of like an action base, something a little more fast paced.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can definitely see that. I guess if it was someone that I wouldn't even know, that's probably one of the safer bets to put on, opposed to, let's say, a slice of life or romance or anything like that. So, yeah, I guess you're 100% right with that one, that something action-packed or just fast-paced to just draw them in a little bit more. I know there was a few BuzzFeed videos of, here's some people who's never seen it in anime before, and they I think they were thrown into Attack on Titan,
Mm-hmm.
and then something all the way to the other scale like Kill la Kill or something.
Yeah.
And that's just like, yeah, those are too far ends, and yeah, I kind of see you. I guess you have to know your audience a little bit and kind of massage it in there. But yeah, I found that kind of funny. Did any of you guys get a chance to watch that one?
Both of them?
I've seen Attack on Titan. I haven't seen Kill la Kill though.
No, well, that and the BuzzFeed video.
No, no, no.
Oh, you guys never saw that? Yeah, you should definitely check that out. It's hilarious. There, obviously with Kill la Kill, even if you haven't watched it, you know of the show. You know how skimpy the outfits are, and she's like, "Really? That is just girders? What the hell is this?" And then on the other end, they're like, "Wow, what the hell are these giant things? Oh my god, it just ate this person. It just broke her neck and ate her." And so, like I said, two far ends, and it's just extremely hilarious. One really etchy, almost hentai, and then the other just really gory. And I guess with most individuals who don't really watch anime, their first thing is, "Oh, that's a cartoon. That's for kids, right?" And it's a lot of these shows coming out is really debunking the idea, and it's starting to become a little more mainstream that these, and I would say a lot of these guys or girls grew up watching these shows and didn't realize, oh, that's an anime, which is on Cartoon Network. I said it was a cartoon, and and now they're trying to know the difference, and it's become, like I said, a lot more mainstream.
Yeah. I know. With one of my friends, Ryan Clegg, he had a friend that was into anime, and the first one he showed him was Fooly Cooly, and he was just like, "What the hell is that?"
Fooly Cooly. It's such a rough show just to get anyone.
Yeah,
it's so confusing. I believe you mentioned before, the more you watch it, the more you understand it, I believe. But I still don't quite understand. There's so many things that just happen in that show, and I'm just like, what? What's the point of it?
Yeah, Fooly Cooly definitely is one of the most random things I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it's so all over the place. I'm not a big fan of it, but someone else that we were talking to, I think, was big on it. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't start someone on that because I just feel like I don't know, I'd rather ease someone in. But I guess that guy's mentality is more like, I want to show you something really crazy so you're like used to it, moving forward to anything else. But
some badass and like, oh, get something in real quick, but then next when you look at like other anime, it's like, what is this? Why is it not like this badass anime or whatever? Like, I'm like, well, there's a whole bunch of variety.
Yeah, there's definitely, like I said, a huge variety. But if you're just not really looking into it, it's really hard. That's why we need those, I guess, a gateway show for them.
Well, one of them I would say would probably be Naruto, because out of all that I've seen friends with her that haven't watched anime at all or anything, they're like, started watching Naruto? Yeah, Naruto.
Yeah, there's a lot of Naruto people.
Naruto. Then all of a sudden, like, I was like, hey, you should go watch this anime and this and that. Like, nah.
Just stick to Naruto.
I'm like, no, you got to go expand to other anime. There's a whole bunch of anime out.
Yeah.
You know?
And the thing that kills me about Naruto is like you don't get a lot of bang for your buck in terms of like you have to watch so much to like get a story. It's just like so much filler or so much. Yeah. It just takes them so long to tell a story of Naruto. It's like.
Now it is, yeah.
But
if anybody would try to start now, they're like, they probably think it's like it's overwhelming because it's so
many
episodes out now. But because even back then, kids who were us our age started watching anime back then. It's like, oh, it's only about 100 episodes at that time. Not bad. It's good. Next, you know, okay, 100, 150, 200. Okay. Alright, just keep watching. Yeah. Sometimes I guess it gets addicting watching Naruto. I guess
it's either the addictive quality or possibly just that you feel so invested into it, and so you're just like, if I stop now, I feel like I just wasted off because I didn't get to the end, and by then you're just kind of hooked. There's a few shows I was able to drop, but I do feel like I want to revisit those shows. Just when it's a little more complete, I can distinguish what's a filler and what's part of the main storyline, and it just makes it easier and quicker to follow up with.
Yeah, you don't have time to watch Naruto already.
Yeah, I have an idea if you want to give the audience.
I started over watching it probably like 4 times.
And for those who, I'm not sure if you feel the same way, Tony over here, if anything catches his interest he forgot about or a new season, he feels the need to rewatch from episode 1 back to the front. So Bleach, back and forth. Bleach was on episode 200. Oh, well, I guess I should rewatch it all over again. I was like, what the hell? Oh, okay. 250. new story arc. Oh, I guess I should rewatch the whole thing. I was like, how do you find the time to do that? On top of everything new that's coming, I was like, where does this time come from?
Well, even so, like even the new series comes out, where I have to wait till they finish it, but by then I should be done with Bleach.
Should. But I guess if you're waiting for this entire season to finish up and then binge watch that, I guess that's where I can see where you're finding some in this room. But I still can't do it.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Maybe 1 or 2 seasons back just to get a little refresher, but
Right.
not all of episode 1, especially with these 400 or 500 episode arc. And it's not just one. It's Bleach, it's Naruto, it's Fairy Tail. It's you haven't started One Piece yet.
I tried to.
I know you tried to.
15.
Yeah, and it's a little more rough because, like we mentioned before, just how old these videos are, and just it's just really hard for us to get into an older show because of the
Well,
lack
the
of
same
details.
thing with one anime I'm waiting for it too. Anyway,
Which one?
Fairy Tail.
I thought you started that already.
I did, but I'm gonna start back over.
Is
because
he
the
gonna
new
start
one's
all the
out
way
now.
over?
Yeah, good luck with that.
Oh man.
Remember, I stopped when it stopped. And then they should all of a sudden, alright, we're continuing. I'm like, alright, I'm gonna have to start over.
I can't do it. Well, you also mentioned that you are a rapper as well. What drove you towards that direction as well?
It was just I mean, I just was a hip hop head from the jump. And I'd say by the time I got to middle school, I started wanting to write my own. It actually was funny because I remember it started with a poem where we had like write a poem in class, and I was like, I'm gonna be cool. I'm not just gonna read my poem. I'm gonna rap my poem.
You're gonna own this. Is pretty much what it is.
You just put a flow to it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
And then like after that, I started thinking about it more, and I'd say by the time I got out of middle school, I started trying to write songs and and take it more seriously. But at the same time, it was kind of like I was always getting sidetracked, or it was just difficult, like putting together stuff to actually like record a full CD, because I mean it's just a lot of work in terms of everything that goes into making music and getting everything done. So I mean, it really wasn't until I was out of college to where I kind of went back and just said, I've always wanted to do this, it's something I'm passionate about. Now I'm really gonna make sure I make the time to start putting things together. So I've made 2 mixtapes since then. Right now I'm working on an actual album that's gonna be all original music. So yeah, so I had first mixtape was called School Days, and it was kind of based on just I just kind of got out of college, and a lot of the stories of just that were kind of influenced by that. And then for the second one, I did the Nightwing mixtape.
Oh, nice.
Which is what we have here.
Oh, definitely. If you want to hold it up, just
Sure.
give the audience a little show. Nice.
So yeah, and that was just based on I've always been a Nightwing fan. I mean, it started with the new Batman Adventures cartoon and back in '97, to where they kind of showed the Nightwing character for the first time, who's the former Robin. And I've always liked Nightwing, but at the same time, he was just like a C-list character. You just never see him. And I kind of think when Young Justice came out and Nightwing kind of got to be, especially season 2, Nightwing got to be one of the main characters, then I was really into it, and it kind of renewed my love and interest for him. And after a while, I started buying Nightwing shirts. I started just getting little Nightwing things here and there, just everything I was throwing around. And then at the time, I was thinking about my next mixtape, and I'm like, shoot, I'm just gonna call it the Nightwing mixtape and just go with it. So yeah.
So, were you a big fan of Teen Titans?
No, actually, I wasn't.
There was actually an episode where they actually had,
crossover, yeah.
and so how'd you feel about that? I mean, that was a totally new look for him. I don't think I've ever seen him with that long hair, and then just the way he was using his staff, how opposed to what he's using now, but batons. So, what was your overall opinion on that style, Robin? I mean,
of
Nightwing.
like the Teen Titans version.
Yeah.
I just to me, Teen Titans is an okay show, but it just felt a little just too childish. It's just not really the tone that I enjoy. Like, I can watch it, but I wasn't into it like I was into Batman the Animated Series and New Batman Adventures and Justice League and stuff. That those shows just had a little bit more of a mature tone. So yeah, I didn't really get as caught up into how they portrayed Nightwing, or I guess other details of it. For me, I just didn't get into Teen Titans because I guess the show on a whole didn't grab me as much.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, Are you familiar with the newer Batman movies that they've been releasing and how they've been portraying that Nightwing?
Oh yeah, that one I'm been totally fine with, and it is something I always pay attention to, because I'm always like, they better not just let
Definitely.
Nightwing get shitted on all the time and stuff like that. So
I'll say with this new current appearance, you have him in the Son of Batman. I believe he has a small part, and then Bad Blood. He wasn't in Justice League versus Teen Titans. So I believe there's one other movie he may have been in. So I think he was in 3.
I mean, he's had a little part in Under the Red Hood as well.
Oh, did he?
Very
yeah, that's
little,
right. He
very
did.
little.
Forgot about that. But was that by the same artist and the same kind of storyline and universe, or was that more of something else? Because I'm thinking that was probably a different story.
I mean, it was a different time period, so I mean, you can kind of say it was a different universe, but not necessarily, because it was just a different time period. To where Under the Red Hood, I feel like, I mean, they just didn't include the Damian Wayne Robin or the Tim Drake Robin, so it felt to me like it kind of occurred before Damian gets involved, or they have some of the other characters. But at the same time, it was you can say it was kind of pre the New 52 or the reboot of DC. So you could it is a total different universe, but it's one of those stories that it could fit in if it was just happened prior to the newer movies.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to give a little, I guess, sample for the audience of your latest mixtape?
Oh, you just want me to rhyme for him?
Yeah, if you're comfortable with that. If there's any
right.
bits, or is there like one of your highlight moments?
I mean, I like all of it, but I'll do the one that's actually Nightwing oriented though. Okay, let me think. Lurking in the shadows, ready to act quick, hand on my gadget, plotting to drop a classic. My soul hold more ammo than your automatic. Now you have it delivered rapid fire, I blast it. Depart from standard art, can't grasp it. The fake blending with the real. These rappers are Roger Rabbit, Nolan cinematic, cut from a different cloth. Tough as fabric, not the one to cross. With each measure, steal that show like Heath Ledger. Top tier B, next time you hear me, I'll be better. Keep pressure, a contender that's fighting, though suffering from amnesia, still remember the Titan.
Dude, that's awesome, man. Where does a lot of this come from? Obviously, we know where you're drawing inspiration from, but where's the rest of it connecting at with everything else?
In what aspect do you mean?
So we know you're a huge fan of Nightwing.
Yeah.
And, where do you take all that and make a song out of it?
Yeah, I don't know any way to put it. It just happens to be my weird combination of interests that I mean, I'm not saying it is weird, but it's not something I come across a lot, to where just being a fan of rap, I mean, all my style comes from just previous rappers. I grew up hard on Tupac and Nas, and then Talib Kweli and Joe Budden, Royce da 5'9", Lupe Fiasco and stuff. So I draw a lot of, just my rapping self from that, but to give it my own twist and have it personal to me, having a few tracks where I show the DC fan in me or stuff like that is just, I don't know, it just kind of comes naturally. It's just kind of what I'm made out of. So that's I don't know any other way to put it.
Definitely. And you actually showed me another song earlier today. It involves a particular anime. Would you like to describe this one a little bit?
Yeah, the Sword Art Cipher. Basically, well, I mean, before I start that, I'll just say with Sword Art Online was an anime that really, I really enjoyed the beginning of it. The very first arc, I absolutely fell in love with. That the second arc, not so much, but the first arc, absolutely fell in love with the whole Ironcrad story and just kind of how they put it together. So. So it's something that was just a big influence at the time, and I actually wanted to. It's actually initially the first thing I did with Sword Art Online was for the Nightwing mixtape. There's a song called Everything I Have, where I sample the first theme song off Sword Art Online, And it's actually just like an actual love song. It's the first song I actually wrote about Whitney. Because the funny thing about Whitney and I is that she's, anytime I make a song about girls or about love or heartbreak or whatever, she's always like, but this song's not about me though. Because you're always talking about like past girls in your life and stuff like that. So, but then I made a song called Damn Girl. That was about a booty, and I told her that was about her, but she's like, I mean, that's cool. Not really what I was looking for, but but when I did Everything I Have, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be the actual like, first time I really just make a song that's for Whitney, and I use the Sword Art theme for it. So that's kind of the first time I dabbled with it, and how the actual song I showed you, Sword Art Cypher, came about was there was another rapper named Richie Branson that he does he does a variety of things. I feel like he raps about Star Wars more than anything else, but he's always about Star Wars and Gundam Wing. But he has a song called Sword Art Cypher, and he basically kind of just did a song taken with the idea of if he was trapped in a game and just was played the if he was Kirito. And I heard it, thought it was cool, and he actually encouraged other people listening to it to make their own versions and stuff like that. And I was like, I can make my own, I can do this, and I'm a big Sword Art Online fan anyway. So I decided I'd make my own Sword Art Cypher remix, and so I did it, and I really enjoyed it. It's actually probably one of my songs that has the most views, I'd say, out of all my songs I've put on YouTube. And I just took a different approach. I was like, instead of just kind of saying, I'm Kirito and I'm cooler, I'm OP, I'm super powerful out here. I was like, well, what if I took the approach of like the actual struggle of the game and like kind of make a serious song out of Sword Art Online? Because I mean, that's kind of what got me into the show, was like the struggle that the characters have to go through. So it's a really serious song about taking the anime, that anime's theme. But I thought I really enjoyed it. I thought it came out good, and I thought it was fun.
Yeah, man. I personally love the song. As soon as I heard it, I was like, wow, this is complete original. This is something I've never heard before. Something I've never heard someone else take that general idea and make it about for someone else. I was just like, dude, this is freaking awesome. We're going to cite it. We're going to link it. Really hoping that we can get more people to listen to it, to see your work. Especially with your current album right now too. Mm-hmm. That's just everything's been just blowing me away for the most part. Oh, you heard it.
You heard a clip of it, and then you ran back to the video game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was playing games, so yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta go to work, man.
But yeah, but it's funny being kind of where I'm at with it, because of the whole thing is like sometimes people hear some songs and they'll like consider me a nerdcore rapper, and it like cracks me up, because it's like I don't like argue with it, but sometimes I'm like, that's not really all I am. It's like, I guess the best way to put it was, most of the times I'm performing or doing things, I'm doing more mainstream audience music. But even when I do that, though, I'll still throw in kind of comic book references, or try to throw in kind of slick little anime references. And so I usually do try to appeal to the kind of the mass audience. But every now and then, though, someone will kind of say like, oh, this is the nerdcore artist Darwin and stuff. And then like I go up on stage and rap about something that has nothing to do with anything nerdcore. So it's always been like a tricky thing for me, to where I do both. So it's like I don't try to. It's not like I'm.
It's not like you only go in one direction. You're more well-rounded than that.
Yeah, like I'm okay saying I do nerd kind of. I kind of consider it nerdcore, but I think of my stuff as a little different. Like I remember, like as Richie described his stuff, he's like, I think he thinks of himself as nerd cool more than nerd core, just because like he feels like his style can reach a more mainstream group, and he's an actual talented rapper kind of thing. And that's kind of the way I look at myself. Like I'm not just a nerdcore artist. I'm just a rapper in general that happens to do some nerdcore things.
Definitely.
On occasion.
And I believe you were mentioning before about some events that you have done, and that there are some more events that are coming up soon.
Yeah, that's right. The other thing that I'm kind of this a hybrid with is I'm also involved in the poetry world.
Which
And
going back to the very beginning,
yeah,
that's where it all started.
yeah, yeah,
So it's just it's always been there.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. It's always been there, but it's one of those things that a lot of rappers can't you know can't fit in with the poets and because their style doesn't really lend itself to that. So, but for me, I'm part of a group called Guerrilla Poets, and they do tons of different things, but mainly their whole thing is about just kind of getting word out about things that they care about and stuff like that. And so I did get to be a feature at a place called Upstage, which is generally a poetry spot. They do other things as well, but I got to feature alongside Shane Manier, and it was really cool because like that was the first time I got to be a featured act. It's in Noda, and yeah, I mean it was a really awesome experience. And the Gorilla Poets on the whole is going to be featured at Say Word Tuesdays on the April 19th. So yeah, so every now and then I get opportunities to perform and so I do a lot of open mics too. So I kind of go around do some open mics, but every now and then I get opportunities to actually be a featured act. So
Oh, yeah, definitely.
yeah,
And you said that's April 19th, and which is a Tuesday.
yeah.
Is this going to be reoccurring, or is this going to be just a one event for now, and then as it
Um,
picks up?
the event's reoccurring. It's an every Tuesday thing, but they bring in a different featured act every Tuesday.
Gotcha.
So for that Tuesday, our group will be the featured act. So
Awesome. Yeah, I really hope that for our schedule right now, we're planning on going. So
okay,
I'm definitely trying to be there. I really want to try to record some of it. I want to try to get at least just recorded a copy to put it out there a little bit as well
yeah.
to really make sure. And as earlier you said that you're not only just a nerdcore singer. Like I said, we want to get more of it out there for you.
Yeah. Mhm.
What about you, Tony? Nothing? No poetry? No singing for you?
No, my poetry is trash. But definitely, yeah, though. But most of all the rapping, though, does come straight from poetry at
Yeah.
first, though.
Oh yeah,
Sorry
yeah.
about that. I tried doing it in school. It didn't work out too well. I ain't no sitting back down, put my head down.
Yeah.
So don't go with me on that.
So you went from that to breakdancing pretty much.
Yeah,
How'd that go for you?
for 3 years, and after that, retired, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I tried to bust it out last time. Was last week at our throwback party we had, and well, basically my sister did, and like it was basically old school versus new school.
Mhm.
He did. Basically, it was my cousin. He did pretty well. His dance was on point,
Mhm.
but he still can't bust out them good moves though. Even though we still got it, but it doesn't look as clean as how it was back in the day. But hey, we still got it.
I'm trying to remember which event we went to. I don't want to say it's Colossal Con, but there was one event you and Kevin went, and I believe you guys had a circle just form around you all of a sudden.
Yeah, and I just stopped busting it out again. But the next time I come out like,
I'm old man.
oh, we're gonna get some water to flip. Sit down.
So what's your go-to move then? If a crowd forms around you, what's your go-to move? What's the thing you gotta do first?
Footwork.
Footwork?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's that. What about right after that?
Right after that, run.
That's it?
Yeah, because I'm running spinning.
Oh,
I'm spinning, so I'm running one direction, so one direction.
I think at that event, I think you were doing the cricket,
Yeah.
was it? And then someone followed right after you. Was it a windmill or a flare they did right after you?
Windmill and flare.
Oh, the combination of both.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you gotta be careful with that, especially that small area.
Oh no, he's young, so he had control of it. I didn't have control of it. I'm getting old.
I think we all are at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
But have you guys got a chance to look at any of the new season that's coming out?
No.
No, I haven't.
Well, I guess the one thing that we've talked about last podcast was Asterisk Wars. So
Oh yeah, the next season just started.
Yep, season 2. I know the first episode's already released. I don't know about the second. There's a couple other things that caught my attention. This personally did not catch my attention, but they brought another season of Sailor Moon back out as well.
Ooh.
So
thought that
so I know
was
when they
done.
came out the Crystal.
Yeah, I thought it was all done.
No, so
Jeez.
a few seasons ago they had Sailor Moon Crystals, which is a new revamp, and then I think that had 12 or 24 episodes. I can't remember off the top of my head. And then they released another season of that, and so it looks like it's going to be ongoing a little bit longer than I thought it would. And following up with that, there's a few other things that caught my attention, only because it's a previous season. Was did you ever watch Magi? No. I thought you watched Magi. It's
Oh, Maggie. I say Maggie.
Magi, yeah.
Yeah. Would they have another one now?
It's actually about Sinbad. I guess it's the prequel to his storyline.
Oh.
And so that's coming out. I'm really looking forward to it. I really liked the first 2 seasons they had. So I guess seeing how OP he was in the show, it'd be really nice to see his backstory.
Well, since for that, I don't have to watch all over again because it's about him.
Yeah, definitely you shouldn't
Yeah, you
have to
gotta
watch
start
all
from the
over
beginning.
again. There's a lot of new things that's coming out that I haven't seen, but Terraformers is starting back up again too.
Which one?
Terraformers? Just when they go to Mars and then they're battling a bunch of cockroaches.
Oh, that one. They have another season?
Yeah, that's coming out.
Oh, wow.
Unless it has already came out. And another one that you're more familiar with is Macross.
Sounds so familiar.
Yeah, like Macross Frontier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there's another Macross season coming out too.
Oh, nice.
I personally am not that big of a fan of that series, so I can't say much about it. I know you've followed it before.
Macaw's Frontier is... I like it just because, like, mainly, I guess, because the singers. The soundtrack, I like it.
Yeah, what was her name? Cheryl? Or...
I'm not sure. It's, I'm not even 100%. Because it's been... How long has that been out?
It's been a few years,
Yeah.
definitely. Probably 4 years ago.
Yeah, I only watched it once.
Oh, really? I thought you liked it quite a bit. Because
I only watched it once, though.
and there's another series of that came out before that you watched too, wasn't it? Or was it a movie?
I think it was a movie.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar. Like, I'm not too familiar with that
That
show.
girl with the short, she's short, has green hair.
Yeah, she was also another singer as well.
Which I like her singing.
I believe I really wish I actually had the information for this. I hate the fact I'm going to, but wasn't her voice actor the one who actually did the intro to the show as well?
I don't want to say, but I think so too, though.
Kind
I
of.
say 100%.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, and I'm thinking that's what they did, but I really wish I had this.
Look it up.
Can't. Too lazy. Back hurts. That's not gonna work, dude. Well, I'm pretty much out of topics. You guys have anything you guys want to go over?
Only thing I've been watching lately, I restarted Monster. That I made it like halfway through, and then I don't know, somewhere along the line I kind of forgot to keep watching it. I got busy, so I restarted it now, and I'm watching it with Whitney. And I still need to finish Your Lie in April that I've gotten through, I'd say, like the first 10, 11 episodes. But I
You
wanna
have to
go
finish
back
that
into
one.
it, yeah.
I
You definitely have to watch out. She's watching it too?
She's seen me watch it. She hasn't really watched it
She
though.
needs to sit down next to you and watch it.
Yeah.
Get popcorn, a little thin blanket, just cuddle and just
Okay.
watch it because... Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely a very emotional show. I don't want to give too much out considering you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it goes deep, man. I really do enjoy it, and I really do that. See, that's one of the shows always want to recommend because of how much fun it is and how emotional it becomes. But it's hard to tell an audience who's never seen any of these shows before to watch that.
Yeah.
So that's one of those weird ones that I want to recommend it, but I can't.
Oh yeah. Have y'all ever watched Digimon? Y'all have to have at least watched Digimon.
I mean, I've come across it, but I never like actually watched it, kind of episode to episode.
Yeah, well, it was on a TV show back in the
Yeah.
day that time, and the next show just cut off.
Mm-hmm.
So I never finished it. But they actually have another anime series now that actually goes back to the original characters. Because after a little further on, like the original character of Digimon when it came out, a little further, probably like season 2, I think, started bringing other characters in, which I
Well,
didn't really know.
If I remember season 2, or it's probably not even considered season 2, the next one, the original cast was still in there. They were shown a little bit older, and they were kind of guiding the new team. But
Three is just only the new one.
yeah, 3 was a whole new revamped. It got a little weird by that point because it's almost like you're looking at Pokemon. You've seen Ash Ketchum at the age of 10 years old for the past 20 years, and that's the character you know. He makes a show for the most part. I haven't seen any of the new ones. I know there was a Pokemon Origins, but for the most part, for 20-something years, we always knew of Ash Ketchum. And for them to do that to Digimon just felt weird. Like, we were so invested. We had, 2-3 years of the original group, and then it just switches. It kind of killed it for me.
Well, yeah, that did kill it for me too, though, because I tried to go watch, Digimon first episode probably like 2 days ago, and I'm like, man, I've seen all the new Pokemon TV shows, and like watching Digimon, like, man, so different.
Yeah, definitely. I really do like this new season. Art style is really nice. It definitely had that nostalgic feeling when you saw Agumon again for the first time, and then you saw Ty and everyone else, and you're just like, all right, this is how it should be.
Yeah.
And I've only got up to the 3rd or 4th episode,
Same here.
so I'm really anticipating it. Another show that that kind of came back. I'm not sure how they're doing this. You know, God Eater has came back. Episode 12 has been out already,
Is it?
I want to say, because they stopped at 9.
Yeah, I saw
So
that.
10, 11, 12. I don't want to say 13 came out yet, but I know the next 3 episodes have came out. I haven't watched them yet. I know my younger brother Kevin has, and he just says you have to watch it. You need to watch it. And have you started watching yet?
No, I haven't yet. If I was gonna watch it, I'm gonna start back over again.
Well, for this one, because it never even finished the first season, this is a little bit easier.
Yeah, it's shorter.
Yeah, definitely a lot shorter. So, what would you, Darn? Did you touch bases on God Eater?
No.
Oh, you better get on it.
Yeah, I'm not touch bases with God Eater, and I definitely was never got into the Pokemon and Digimon and stuff. I mean, I grew up kind of on the Dragon Ball Z. That I got introduced to that kind of early on, and then I'd say it was a long time before I started watching any anime again. So even like before I was telling you guys about Full Metal, when I first got into college, I ended up catching episodes in Yuasha, and I started watching that some, and then but not like continuously, or I didn't make sure I watched it all, but yeah, I think that kind of helped spark the interest and then I ended up watching Full Metal. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the main stuff. I mean, trying to think of what I've watched recently. I like the Fate series. I watched the Fate Stay Night and the Fate Zero. So
Oh, yeah, definitely. I believe
Yeah.
I believe what you mentioned before was the art style and how much detailing and how the graphics are is just top notch. But they had 2 seasons of that, so well over 24 episodes. Imagine taking that same budget and putting it into a show that they only released 9 episodes with. That is what I would have to say God Eater looks like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the quality, the animation, everything about God Eater, I would say was that good.
Okay. Okay, I'll check it out.
And so even if I would say that the storyline is not quite all the way there, it's just so visually appealing that it's just like it's outrageous. You have to watch that.
Especially the action and everything too. Hey, well, I think you definitely would like watching God Eater though, because they do struggle in there too.
Oh yeah, but by no means is it. Yeah,
You're right.
we're called God Eaters and whatnot, but by no means are they that. they get taken out very quickly and easily.
Mhm.
There's definitely a struggle. It's like the Dave versus Goliath story. The human race is just on the brink of extinction, and it's crazy.
Yeah, I think at this point I go into just about any anime without assuming too much because so many anime just thrown me way off or just told stories I just was not expecting and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, I imagine God Eater will definitely be its own unique world.
Oh yeah. Well, do you guys have anything else? Because I'm out of topics.
I'm out of topic.
Yeah, not anything else for me.
All right. Would you like to do the honors since you're our first guest? Would you like to close us out?
Do I have to say anything special?
Uh,
Or do I just say?
Thanks for watching.
Thanks
If you
for
want to
watching.
plug
Good night.
yourself one more time.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, before we go, where can they find you?
Yeah.
Obviously, you're on SoundCloud. Where can they find you on SoundCloud? Where can they
think-
find you on YouTube? You know, obviously, and then April 19th.
Mhm.
Which lounge was that? Go ahead and
Yep.
you know,
So
finish us off.
the easiest thing to do is I do have my own website, so it's just darwinmusic.com. So it's dar1music.com, and you just spell one like the number. You just put in the number, and other than that, I mean, I'd say if you looking on Facebook or SoundCloud, then just put dar-1 is the easiest way you can search for me. But I'd say easiest thing to do is just to go to darwinmusic.com and you'll find the links to everything else. So I'd say that's the easiest thing. Other than that, Nightwing mixtape's out, so if you go to that website, you can download Nightwing mixtape for free. It's basically a promotional mixtape, so it's for free. And I'll be at the Tavern on Moorhead, which is it's downtown. I think it's like 300 East Moorhead, and that'll be April 19th. And I want to say the show starts at about 10 or so. And then, so that's for the Gorilla Poets feature. And other than that, I'm working on my first full album. It'll be called Darwin Theory. And I don't know when it'll come out. It'll be months and months and months from now, probably. But so I don't want to give it a date, but be on the lookout for that.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely waiting for it.
Yep. So.
Yep.
So thanks. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for having me here as a guest.
Oh, definitely, man.
Mhm.
This is having a great time tonight. I would also like to thank Sam Ash again. We stopped by today. We picked up a few more equipment. As you can see, we have a new mix board. We have new cables. We actually just ordered a new Rode Broadcaster mic. They gave us an extremely great discount. Originally goes for $419. Because they discontinued it, he sold it to me for $219, $200 off. And he says there's 10 more. If anyone wants a Rode Broadcaster for half the price, stop by Sam Ash. There's maybe 9 left since I bought one. And just like to thank everyone else. Thanks ProMaster for some of these lights, Limo Studios for this one, Shining on Me, Canon for all these cameras. Yeah, God, thanks to everyone. We wouldn't be here for these guys.
No.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, appreciate it. This is Convention Shenanigans. Thanks for watching. Like our page. Follow us. Please follow Darwin. And we'll see you next time.
Mike,
All right.
peace out.
See ya. Deuces.